want you to think about the best trip you have ever taken. Maybe it was a vacation to your grandparents' house, or maybe it was to a far-off destination. Chances are you had some help in planning that vacation. Now, you may not have saved the money or planned long-term to go on the vacation, but your parents probably came to you and said, "Hey, will you pack your shoes and your socks and your toothbrush and your hairbrush and all the things that you'll need for this trip?" Of course, you had to create a plan so that you didn't miss something while you were on your trip. Your parents saved the money. They decided where they were going to stay and how they were going to get there. They even thought of you as they were planning for this trip and how much fun you would have as you went to see grandma or you went to an amusement park. You see, planning is important. It allows us to maximize the time that we have. Did you know that God also has plans? And God has plans for us. Today we're going to meet a man named Samuel. He was a prophet. A prophet had a very important job, and that was telling people God's plan. And today, Samuel is going to be given a very specific plan. Will he follow God's direction? Before we get there, I want to read a really incredible Bible verse to you. It says this. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not rely on your own understanding. In all your ways know Him, and He will make your paths straight." I don't know about you, but a straight path is always quicker and it's always much safer. So when God says He's got a plan and it's a straight path, I'm listening. Check out this story today as Samuel listens to God's plan.
The prophet Samuel was very disappointed. Saul was the king, but he had not obeyed God. Saul was no longer the man whom God wanted to be king. God told Samuel to visit a man named Jesse who lived in Bethlehem. Jesse had 8 sons. God told Samuel that one of those sons would be Israel's new king. Samuel went to Bethlehem and invited Jesse and his family to a special sacrifice to worship God. Samuel obeyed and went to Bethlehem. The elders of the town met him and fearfully asked if he was there in peace. "I've come in peace," Samuel told them. "I'm offering a sacrifice to the Lord. Get yourselves ready and come with me." Then he invited Jesse and his sons to come to the sacrifice. When he saw Jesse's oldest son, Eliab, Samuel was sure this was whom God wanted to be king. "Don't pay attention to how he looks or how tall he is, because he is not the one," God told Samuel. "You cannot see what I see because I see the heart." Jesse brought his next son Abinadab to Samuel. Samuel said, "God has not chosen you." Jesse's third son Shammah came to Samuel. But still Samuel said, "This isn't the one either." One by one, Jesse brought 7 sons to Samuel, but God did not choose any of them. Samuel asked, "Do you have any more sons?" Jesse answered, "My youngest son is taking care of the sheep." "Send for him and we will wait," Samuel said. When David came, Samuel saw he was healthy and handsome. "This is the one," God said to Samuel. "Anoint him as king." Samuel took oil and anointed David in front of his brothers, setting him apart for God's special plans. From that day on, the Spirit of God was powerful in David.
You know, the story of Samuel is quite remarkable. God told Samuel to anoint David as king, and even David's own father didn't think that David was well equipped to be king. You see, God's plan was far greater. David would go on to be called a man after God's own heart, and he would be a king that would be incredible for the children of Israel, although he wouldn't be the perfect king. Of course, that was in Jesus, the one true king. And God has a plan for you today, and that is that you know Jesus, that one true king. In John 3:16, we're reminded that God loved you so much that He sent His one and only Son, Jesus, that whoever believes in Him will not perish but have everlasting life. How will you follow God's plan today? Will you honor your mother and father and listen to their wise instruction? Will you listen to what God is asking you to do as you read your Bible? You know, if we practice listening to the people around us that we know and love, it'll be much easier to trust God when we're adults and He asks us to do something very big. I don't know if you know this, but the story of Samuel started when he was a little boy and he listened to the call of God one night. You see, God has plans for us. Are we willing to listen? I hope you are today.
Bienvenidos a Ecuador.
Our family and others from our church in Virginia are here in Ecuador for a week serving on a mission trip. We're serving with an organization called For His Children. And For His Children cares for kids who cannot be with their families for several different reasons. Sometimes they're abused or neglected, or their parents just can't take care of them. So For His Children is their family, and the caregivers here are so amazing. And we certainly want to show love to the kids, and we enjoy our time with the kids so much. But we're really here for the caregivers, to thank them for what they're doing, to encourage them in their work. We see them being the hands and feet of Jesus, and so we're just thankful to be a part of that for a week.
The ladies that work with the children here, they call them tias, which means aunts, because there's very much a family atmosphere. And so on this particular trip, we just have really pitched in and done whatever we could do. We did arts and crafts, we played games with the kids, we fixed some of the equipment and bicycles and those kinds of things, and did chores, just whatever we could do to pitch in and help out.
So we're here in Ecuador during the week of American Thanksgiving, so we decided to show our For His Children family a little taste of what Thanksgiving would be like in Virginia. This is the first time that our family has been in another country on a mission trip together, and it's just so great to experience this as a family.
Yeah, it's definitely a very unique experience to be able to say that I've experienced this part of the world that God has definitely poured life into and made it unique and special, and there's nothing else quite like it anywhere else.
I was adopted from Central Asia when I was 6, and so I felt like this was a calling for me to go on this mission trip. This was also my very first mission trip, and I felt like I had a connection right away with the kids, and I just wanted to share the love that I had gotten when I was adopted.
This is actually my 4th international mission trip, and I'm so excited to be here in Ecuador. I'm currently in college and don't know what my future holds, but I know it involves missions in some capacity, whether that is short-term mission trips like this, whether it's living in another country and doing full-time missions, or whether it's doing missions every day back at home in the U.S.
There's so much love here at For His Children, and when I see that it's coming from a place of knowing Jesus and loving Jesus, it just makes us all the more excited to be a part of the work. This is family, and it's an honor to be here.